I was tagged in this post. It's in the theme of the Sherlocked topic. So this woman named Sinclair says, my in-laws invited themselves over for Halloween. We often have guests because we live in a brightly lit neighborhood with large sidewalks and a homeowners association that pressures people to look like we're a neighborhood in Disneyland. We often make a bean chili because of the large number of vegetarians who are coming. My mother-in-law volunteered to make the chili. Wonderful, but she refused my recipe. Now she's told me that I need to fix it. I've gone back to my office to work on an email. She says, while my father-in-law and mother-in-law are taking a nap, I went to check on the chili out of pure curiosity and impure spite. She added diced asparagus. And then she did an emoji where she's covering her eyes and then laughing. Because why in the world would anybody add asparagus to chili? I mean, I know that it is a vegetarian chili, but why would you add asparagus? Like, in what world does that happen? Now, this person, a forager's home, says, is the asparagus the trick? Because no way is it the treat. Because remember, this is Halloween, so maybe that is the trick. Like, haha. AKA Route 66 says, me all night. Enjoy the chili made by mother-in-law. Did you try the chili mother-in-law made? Thanks for making the chili, mother-in-law. Like, you have to keep attaching chili and mother-in-law together so nobody is confused that Sinclair made this. Nobody will think Sinclair made this because we're going to continue to attach chili and the words mother-in-law together. Eleanor says, ask her if she knows how to cut cake. Gina starts laughing. Sarah asks, how are the walls in your office? Conan the Destroyer says, asparagus chili is not a main. If you did not see the great chili debate, is on my page from a couple of days ago. It was definitely funny. Yellow Dog Dim says, I understood that reference. Not everybody is going to understand all of these references because these threads posts build on each other. This person, Dreamer, at the bottom says, so your guests are going to get stinky pee and stinky farts all in one dish. I suppose that is the definition of efficiency. I am Sherlocked comes through. She is the one that started all of this whole Sherlocked situation. So she comes through. She's sipping on her smoothie. Kara says, you started a revolution of boundary holding. She certainly did. And now everybody is referencing this and it is amazing. Maggie at the bottom says, 1 year my mom made a curry turkey for Thanksgiving. That made me laugh. I don't know why that made me laugh. It just does not seem like you should be experimenting on Thanksgiving with different seasonings that nobody has ever tried. Curry turkey could be good, but maybe not so much on Thanksgiving. Here at the bottom, this is Holly. This is the one that had the great chili debate. She says, I've had my own chili saga. But asparagus, I love how everybody is just kind of coming together in these posts to drop comments. It's funny to me. And then at the top, keep going because you got this, says, my pack of bingo cards spontaneously combusted. That made me laugh too. Tanya says, does she also put raisins in potato salad? Sue Ellen says, this fair-skinned lady just busted out laughing at this reference. Crochet Nonsense shared this picture. It says, I walked off to admire the walls, and this young lady is holding a piece of cut cake. I love this. Aviation Queen posted this one. I walked off to admire the walls. We have a black lady. She looks dignified, some kind of royalty, and she's looking off to the side, probably admiring a wall. This is where I was tagged in by Gwen saying, oh my God, I'm so proud of myself for getting that reference, saying thank you to Burb and Bougie. Kathy says, take it from I am Sherlocked and look at the walls. Look at the walls inside of the office as she's typing up her emails. Zelda Lynn says, chili is exceptionally hard to F up. I'm almost impressed. And then finally, we'll do the bottom one. Jill says, what the F? That sounds like my mother-in-law. She never cooks except when she comes to my house and screws up my cooking. I literally graduated from the cordon bleu and the woman does not and cannot cook in my food. I absolutely love these types of stories So if you do see them and you're over on Threads, make sure to tag me, because we have to bring these dramas to life. So this was a short one. It was not a full set of days back to go back and find, but I do appreciate these stories and women holding boundaries, women having boundaries and sticking and staying with them. People are going to have to stop being so entitled to a woman's time and labor. I love this. I love this whole new topic, this theme, this movement. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think of this one. So this woman, Hammy Ray over on Threads, made this caption and shared these screenshots. She says, so this woman posted her son and said he is 27 years old and he is single and that she's looking for a wife for him. In her words, I'm tired of cleaning and cooking for him. I think it's high time he gets a wife that will be doing these things. So she's looking for a servant for her son. She says, trust Gen Z in the comments section. All right, let's take a look at this. So remember, we got that word Hubson last year. So here's her 27-year-old Hubson right here. So let's look at the comments. So Choi says, and you didn't teach him to wash and cook for himself, and then gives this face. I absolutely love that. MJ at the bottom says, have y'all tried other options like hiring a chef and a maid? They will get the job done for sure. And then the mom, this is the mom right here, Ma Croc. I will need to go check that out because this seems hilarious. But Ma Croc says, wife and help are two different things. Wives do chores for their husbands. Boss Lady says, so you're looking for a maid. And then the mama says, are wives no longer cooking and cleaning? Not all people can afford help. No one is forced. It's optional to try out with him. So try cooking and cleaning for him. But she's so confused. Are wives no longer cooking and cleaning? These mamas of right now with these older dudes, they better learn real quick. Nobody is just taking your adult liability off of your hands. And this dude better learn how to cook and clean. They better get it together, because these young ladies right now, they are not dealing with these liabilities of these Hubsons. So remember right here, Mama says, our wives no longer cooking and cleaning. Randy says, no, we're not. Zay says, so teach your son how to cook and clean. Ploosh Smoosh says, no, we aren't. So tell him to start learning. Yes, I love these ladies. Mo Lu says, mother defending her lazy son in the comments is ending me. And then Mama says, you see no potential. Pass. Grace says, that's a liability you raised. And then the test lady says, she will still think he's the prize. Pale says, imagine my parents raising me all these years to just cook and clean for a man, while you're raising yours to have a wife to cook and clean for him. Double standards, ma'am. That's a 27-year-old man. He should be able to use his hands by 13 years old. You failed this one. Mama says, not for you, Delula. And then this next lady says, so you are saying the advert should say, looking for a maid. KGL Nail Salon says, he needs to work hard so he can afford a full-time maid. Rob says, and a chef. KGL says he's busy looking for a wife instead of working hard, but he can't do these things for himself, and then does a little sad face emoji. Now, Simply Zara says, the ladies in the comments do not disappoint. I love this new generation. I absolutely love this new generation as well. And this is global. I don't know where they are, but I do see some South Africans. I don't know if they're all South Africans, but I do love that this is a global phenomenon of these young women. Azola says, I'm judging any woman who sees a potential husband in someone who can't take care of himself. I'm glad that women are saying these things. Florida's Hand says, keep him, mama. Continue the good Lord's work. Sharon says, the mother thought she ate. And then says, the comments. Avi at the bottom says, as a mother of a grown son, you did a bad job if you're still doing all that for him. Ladies, please stay away if you value. It probably says if you value your mental health. It gets cut off a little bit. Now we're about to come to the comments under Hammy Ray's thread. We love it when uppity negress makes an appearance. She says, Textbook labor digger raised by a male-centered woman who had no identity outside of her labor. Absolutely. This is what she raised. Now she has this liability, this pest that will need to nest and rest somewhere. But women need to shun these types of men. Okoye says, didn't you write an article about this a few years ago? She did not come back and respond. Just a simple droid says, not all people can afford help, but you think he can afford a wife? Hello. Ariel at the bottom says, that part got me because of what? She doesn't believe a woman should be compensated for raising her man-child. Meddy Kate says, bro, she don't even want him. Why does she think anyone else does? This person, Brown Sugar, says, exactly, shaking my head. Now we have this dude that comes in. Now we have Elliot come in. Many women have long forgotten their role. I'm adding as a servant. That's invisible, but that's what he means. It's not your fault that the world easily manipulates you and you fall for it. But hey, if y'all good with men using y'all, then it's all good. Stay like that. And then he says some words that I don't know. He says, the reason why rich men give you his money is because it's without value, but yours is incomparable. But you too blind to see that there isn't enough money in the world that can buy your value, woman. Only a few understands this, the rest, nah. Basically, get back in the kitchen. You have no value otherwise. What are you doing, woman? They have to try it some kind of way to make sure that women stay being a wife appliance or a girlfriend appliance. SLSS says, what money? And then laughs. And then Elliot says, I bet you a woman, and one with a feeble mind indeed. But fortunately, I have to spare even for the likes of you. Want me to say it like you was 5 years old? SLSS says, just saying that most men do not have the money to have a stay-at-home wife. Women have to work nowadays because men aren't pulling in good enough money anymore to keep her at home. And to that, Elliot says, I agree with you there, and that's the problem. This changes the women behavior significantly towards men in a horrible way. So go check out the stats about this. Women no longer see the value of men in many nations, actually globally. And that's true because they need to cook and clean for themselves and stop being a liability that thinks that they're going to just have a servant. I'll end with Ritzy Goddess at the bottom saying, because men have no value, y'all aren't likable, valuable, or desirable. Men are gravel, meaning you're worthless unless you make yourself useful. Be useful. Everybody should be useful. Everybody should be working together. Everybody should be working together, and parents are going to have to teach their children that everybody has to work together in the home. We're in a paradigm shift, and everybody is seeing that, and I love this. I love this lesson that we're seeing in real time. Join the conversation, y'all. Men are steadily trying to threaten single women that they are just going to be alone. They're going to be alone with their cats. No one's going to love them. But then you come to the internet and let wives tell it. Many of these wives are alone in their own marriages. They live with people and they're still absolutely alone. So this woman posted in the marriage subreddit saying, I think I just lost all hope for my marriage. So the husband is 34, she's 41. She says, my husband and I have been together for 7 years, married for 5. The problem started a few years ago, but until yesterday, I still had hope things might change. Now I don't think so anymore. The main issue is always the same. I want to spend more time together. In reality, we spend maybe 30 minutes a day, drinking coffee, having dinner. Of course, we do have nice evenings together every now and then, but they're very rare. And most of the time, our time together just means watching movies, which for me doesn't really feel like quality time in the long run. I miss deep, engaging conversations, the feeling that you just love to be with each other, cuddling, sex, listening to music together, all this stuff. Occasionally, we'll spend a whole Saturday together if there are errands to run and we have a date. It's not that this doesn't happen at all, but for me, it's too rare. Maybe once every 2 months. I don't expect us to be together every day, but my ideal would be to have at least one evening a week and maybe Saturdays together. We tried things like a Saturday date day, but it only lasted 2 weeks before everything goes back to normal. I once suggested spending an hour together every evening after dinner. He said he didn't have time for that. When he was freelancing and had little work, he played video games all day, often from 2 p.m. to 3 a.m. Now he's got a full-time job and works constantly, sometimes until midnight, partly because he has to, mostly because he wants to. It feels like he just doesn't want to spend time with me. When I bring it up, he says things like, I just have a lot going on these next 2 weeks, but those 2 weeks never end. The fact that even when he wasn't working, he was playing video games from 2 p.m. to 3 a.m. Yes, I agree. He does not want to spend time with this woman. How many clues, how many Blue's Clues have to be left for these women to get it in their brains that no, these people don't like them? A few nights ago, I asked him to finally be honest about how much time he actually wants to spend with me. He said he couldn't answer that because it depends on the day. I told him I want to feel that he wants to be with me. He got irritated, walked away, and that was it. Later, he suggested we walk the dog together the next morning. I took that as a small olive branch, but then he didn't get up the next morning. Also a thing that happened more than once. After I came back from walking the dog, there was no apology, no mention of it. I didn't bring it up either because I didn't want to fight anymore. I'm tired of it. The fact that she has to ask specifically, how much time do you want to spend? Like he's saying it in his words and in his actions that he does not want to spend any time with her. And she's just desperate for just a breadcrumb, just a morsel of attention from her husband. She says, whenever I talk about things that hurt me, he gets defensive, no matter how gently I bring it up. He never validates my feelings. His version of empathy is, I'm sorry you feel that way. You're misinterpreting it. He genuinely doesn't understand emotional validation. We talked about this a lot and believes it means agreeing with me even if I'm wrong. The very interesting part of this is she thinks that he doesn't understand. I'm sure that this man understands fully what he's doing. He just doesn't care or doesn't think that she's going to leave. So many times people say, why didn't you communicate? Did you tell him you needed more? Blah, blah, blah. And she is expressing how much she is communicating with this person. So when she walks away and he's blindsided, it's going to be like, I never knew it was this bad. She got mad at me because I was working. I was trying to provide and she just left. When he gets defensive, he raises his voice, speaks fast, and gets visibly upset, which is very triggering for me. He says being loud and reactive is his authentic expression and that he doesn't want to change that. Sometimes he tries, but it never lasts. At this point, I feel like I only have two options, either leave or accept that he'll never change and stop bringing up anything that bothers me. Sometimes I think I'm overreacting, especially when I see how kind and empathetic he is with other people. Then I forget how different he is with me. Now, in the beginning, he wasn't like this. There are smaller things too. I've told him for years I'd love it if he brought me flowers sometimes. He never does. He says he doesn't have time because he'd have to go during his lunch break. Or he could just go online and order things how regular people who are way too busy to do things do things. To be fair, he's great with practical stuff and can be supportive when the issue doesn't involve him directly. We share many interests, but something in me snapped yesterday. Towards the bottom, she says, I'm terrified of being alone. Part of me fears I'm overreacting and will regret leaving, but I can't keep doing this. Thanks to anyone who read this, I just needed to get it out. And that's the reason why, this part right here, I'm terrified of being alone. This is what keeps women stuck in these terrible situations. She's terrified of being alone, yet she is alone in this relationship. She just won't make the next step of breaking up this marriage that's not even serving her. She's not allowing herself any space or energy to find somebody that might be more compatible, that might actually like her, because she won't leave this man alone. She's been with him for 7 years. So, obviously the devil you know versus the devil you don't, or however that saying goes. But the thing is, it's not serving her. She's really upset about this. So what is she going to do? She's going to have to make this decision to leave. But this is the reason why women are moving away from giving a good goddamn about these men and their threats about being alone and having cats. Because so many wives express how they're not even getting their needs met and they actually have a husband. Own Respect says, the thing is with men, if they want to, they will, and he clearly doesn't. If you're clashing often, he won't want to spend time with you. If you're always talking to him about things you want him to do or change, he won't want to spend time with you. When you do spend time together, what are you doing? Things he really enjoys? All things to consider, but at the end of the day, you may just not be compatible. Bite-sized Bubonic says, after reading this post, I wonder why she even wants to spend time with him. I wouldn't. Dizzy Belly says, your ideal of one evening a week is not asking too much. Your husband is checked out and you are mourning the loss of the marriage you actually deserve. Froyo says, are you me? We went to therapy because I was tired of having no quality time together. We agreed on 1 hour a day, but he fought it like crazy. Suddenly that 1 hour didn't work anymore, so we chose another. That didn't work either, so we chose another that worked for him. Then suddenly that didn't work either. There's no emotional connection anymore. He let the flame burn out. He won't even take me on a date. I have to suggest one, and I'm met with feeling like a burden in response. And he acts the same way if I bring something up, no matter how I bring it up. He's so defensive that I would rather just not say anything. I walk on eggshells in my own home, yet I have to be present for his 2 children, and I cannot raise any concerns. The second he talks to his kids, a coworker, or a friend, his attitude is way different. He validates them just fine and shows empathy. It's only me he can't do that with. I don't know what the answer is for you, but after 7 years of this, I'm done. I deserve better than someone who I have to ask for time from or don't even feel safe talking to. So sorry you're going through this too. It feels so lonely. Yes, I'm glad that she has made the decision to leave. So many women have got to get to that point where they have asked for something, they see that it's not working, and then they choose themselves rather than staying miserable forever. We do not have to stay miserable forever. So create a plan, execute that plan, and go out and find your happiness. So this man right here, young little B, Trap Money B. The caption right here that you see, I'm literally mind blown, go on a 2-day dunk hunt and come home to a cleaned out house. Now I'm talking over this because it's a song playing in the background and I don't want to get any copyright violations over on YouTube, but they have 2 young kids, like 2 really young kids. And so the fact that this house is this cleaned up says that this woman was serious and she was planning this. Because you know how messy kids can be. So he went on this, and how do women get to this point of just leaving clean just like this? She didn't break anything. She didn't fight anymore. She says, look, I said I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna leave. And she did it. She stood on business and she left. And this dude is heartbroken now. Now he's in his room. He's about to go over to this nightstand right here. And you're going to see it right here. It says Bryce, and he has the 2 wedding rings right there. I first saw this post because of life coach Shonda. She posted this, and when she posted it, you can see right here, it had over 5,700 comments. Because of her post, I went and found the post. But over on his post, he only had a handful of posts because he has been deleting comments. But this comment that she talks about in her video, this man says, "It happened to me. I thought I was innocent. I corrected myself, learned from my mistakes, and changed my behavior. She came back. It ain't about the hunt, bud. Figure what you did. Women don't just up and leave." So this was on her page because she caught it when it had a whole bunch of comments, because this must have been going viral. And then this person says he's deleting a bunch of comments that aren't defending him. So he's not ready to examine where he went wrong and why she left. I go over to his page. This is Little Trap B's page right now. You can see I'm literally mind blown. Same video. 17 comments. This dude has erased over 5,000, over 5,700 comments. He didn't want to see all that, but he did leave a few. So S&K Beagle says, "Man to man right now, stop and think about everything she ever said to you, whether it was in an argument or just a civil discussion. She already told you what you were doing wrong, and we as men don't pick up on it until it's too late sometimes. Fight and change and prove to her you can fix yourself for your family if you love her. Good luck, dude, and I hope it's not too late for you." But the thing is, if he doesn't even want to acknowledge where he just ignored her, because that is what they do. Women will say, "I need this change. I need X, Y, and Z. I'm not feeling supported," or whatever. They will say this, and these dudes will not listen. And then at the bottom, Latoya says, "Oof," and she cleaned. She had time to think. Must be more to the story. Casey says, "Yeah, there's no sign of anger anywhere." At this particular juncture, she was just apathetic. Once there's no anger, once women are not talking anymore, it is over. There's no resuscitating it. Skippy says, "Brother, reflect on this exact moment and realize that she still doesn't want it to end." How do you know that, Skippy? Because once a woman makes it up in her brain that she's going to physically leave, she's been thinking about it for a while. These dudes do not listen to women. All right, it says, but want you to realize that she's hurting and needs you. Women don't leave us for nothing. Sometimes we just need to take a moment and refocus. Carly says, "Someone bring me back for updates, and I need to know what the note said." Because at the end, there was a note. It said Bryce. It was right there by her wedding rings. She told him exactly why she left. Amanda says, "Trust me, she gave you signs before she left." Wyatt says, "How could someone put someone else through this?" He knows. He knows exactly what he did or what he didn't do. He posted another video. It was this compilation video right here where he's showing off his kids and him with his kids and his wife. His wife right here looks like she is just completely over it. And then someone in his comment section was like, "Tag her. I want to hear her side." And somebody said, "Well, he's tagged her in posts before, but I didn't see anything." It was like he went through and cleaned up his account. The only thing on his account are shout outs to his deceased brother and dad, and tributes to his deceased brother and dad, and a bunch of trucks. Like, he likes trucks, or this one truck. He has a bunch of videos with his trucks. But here's the video with his kids, and listen to the audio that he decided to use in the background. After I play that, I'm going to share what Coach Shonda said after this. But by the time women leave physically, they have already left these men mentally. They've broken up. They've said what they've needed to say, and these dudes do not think that their wives will leave them because they're so used to, they think that these women are just that desperate to stick and stay. And some women are, but some women are getting to the point where they are fed up a lot quicker.
Focus on your little family. Nothing else matters. In a world full of noise, distractions, and obligations, it's easy to lose sight of what's truly important. But amidst all the chaos, your little family is your safe haven. They are the ones who bring joy, love, and meaning to your life. So, take a step back, breathe deeply, and let the noise fade away. Remember, your family is your top priority. Their smiles, hugs, and laughter are what make every day brighter. Their love and support give you strength and courage. Don't let work, social media, or other obligations steal your attention away from what really matters. Your family needs you, and you need them. Cherish every second, every laugh, and every tear. Your little family is growing and changing every day, and these moments won't last forever.
I saw comments like this. It happened to me. I thought I was innocent. I corrected myself, learned from my mistakes, and changed my behavior. She came back. It ain't the hunt, bud. Figure what you did. Women don't just up and leave. What? I saw another comment where a man said, I bet you she warned you. If you go on that hunt for 2 days, when you come back, me and these kids are going to be gone, and you called her bluff. The men holding him accountable and saying, no, there is no way. She just up and left you and you have no idea. When men say it came out of nowhere, that is proof that they were not listening. A lot of these men don't hear you until you leave. The song choice, I promise I'll change if you give me one more chance. I bet you she gave you one more chance about 10 chances ago. What I appreciate is the honesty and the transparency of the men saying women don't just up and leave good men. Sir, what did you do? The men that hate the kind of content that I make are the kind of men that I'm warning women about. They're the men that weaponize their incompetence. They're not fully present husband and fathers, and they hate being called out for their bad behavior. If you never want to end up in a situation like this where you come home and your wife and kids are gone, you might want to start listening to that woman who's been complaining about something, who's been asking you to change something. You may not know it, but you might.
I usually don't hop on here and make casual videos, but I'm so compelled because I need all the loser men who are getting on the internet excited about SNAP benefits ending to know that you didn't have a chance before and you still don't have a chance. You're excited about people losing their food stamps so that you think somebody's gonna have to call you and nobody's calling you. Your phone's dry. Okay, I would pay for another woman's groceries before she had to call you for $40 for food. Okay, you're a loser, you're ugly, you don't have a chance, you didn't have a chance before, you don't have a chance now. You thought you were going to get a date. You thought somebody was going to call you. You thought Tasha or Keisha or Kim or Kimberly was going to call you this weekend because they needed money for food. Guess what? They don't. We're in community. You're still ugly. Your breath still stank. Nobody's calling you. You didn't have a chance before. You don't have a chance now. Loser.